Okay, let's turn our attention now to Canadian politics. In May of this year, centre-ice Canadians began the process of exploring the viability of a new centrist federal party in Canada. Their full report on that effort is going to come in September, but they've reached the halfway point and they've decided to release some of their key takeaways so far after 2 months of working on this. The co-founder and director of Centre-Ice Canadians, Rick Peterson, joins us once again. Rick, thank you so much for coming back on the show.
Hi, Elias. Pleasure to be here.
So, let's see. What have you figured out over the last couple of months, Rick?
Well, thanks, Elias. If any listener goes to our website, centricecanadians.ca, you'll see on the homepage a progress report. And there's 5 key things that we've looked at, Elias, that we believe are going to be determinant in a final decision. And the way things look right now, I'd say we're kind of 85% of the way there. Some key things that need to happen, but it's an amazingly interesting effort, Elias, because this is truly grassroots, people from across Canada. And, it's not as if we have one very, very well-known person like a Maxime Bernier or anybody else starting a party around them. This is actually people that desire change, that desire different voices than are out there right now and are contributing ideas, are contributing volunteer time, are contributing financial donations. Fascinating to watch. It really is.
So when you say you're 85% of the way there, does that mean like you're 85% likely to start a new party?
I'd say that's a pretty fair, optimistic view. Yeah. The 5 key areas that are, again, on our website, centricecanadians.ca, are policy, party constitution, volunteers, the leadership and the party name, and fundraising. So if you are looking at the viability of starting a party, the easy thing is a constitution. The easy thing is a party name. And the other thing that's probably not as hard as people might think would be policy. We sent out full credit to Dominic Carty. As I highlighted in my report, Dominic Carty has taken a really strong leadership role, Elias, in this effort. And he has put together a policy framework that we've sent out. If you are on, or anybody is on our email list, they can participate. And it's, what do you think? Where are the areas? What things would you like to see? And the feedback on the policy has been massively, there are obviously areas that people don't disagree on, but I would say good, strong policy on reducing debt, strong foreign policy, pragmatic approach to politics. We'll have no problem coming up with a policy framework, not the details, but the broad lines of it. Where the rubber hits the road, Elias, in terms of starting a party is, do you have people who can put in the time and the effort, and people who are skilled, experienced in grassroots politics? And that goes from everything from a local EDA organization to helping in campaigns and to taking leadership roles in the governing body, which would be a national council. So if there is 15% of my 85 to 100 that's left, it's making sure that we are seeing and hearing from across Canada people stepping up and willing to really put their shoulder to this thing and make it happen. Because if it doesn't, if you don't have a correct mix of people and structure is key. I can talk about that later. But the structure of the party and the people are really the nuts and bolts of what makes a party go.
Okay, I kind of want to talk just for a second about how we even get here, right? Because Canada has a lot of federal parties. Even if you're on the loopy ends on the right and left, you got the Greens, you got the PPC, even the loopy people have a place to vote. So how is it that there's this growing group of people in no man's land in a party that has lots of options?
How many parties do you think there are registered right now, Elias, at federal level?
I mean, if every party registered, it'd be dozens, right? Dozens.
Well, that's 16.
16, okay.
16,
yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
So registering a party is easy, right? I mean, right now you've got the Animal Protection Party, the Marxist-Leninists, the Rhinoceroses, the Free Party. There's all kinds of them, right? But of the 4 or 5 main ones, what ended up happening is quite honestly, in April of 2022, a group of us thought, you know what, given the populist approach that we're hearing take over a lot of Canadian political discourse on the one side, and a lot of the, very, very progressive tone on the other, we started a group and we called ourselves centrist conservatives because we were all conservatives at the time. And we said, well, let's just have a voice for those of us who are center-right, and we think that we need to get more pragmatic. As you probably know, Elias, because you've been kind enough to have us on your show in the past, that group morphed into centrist Canadians because we had people from the left of center say, we'd love to join what you're doing, but we're not conservatives. And who is a very respected economist, and Christy Clark, former Premier of British Columbia, who came and supported our first conference in Edmonton a year ago in August, said to us, Rick, we love what you're doing, but you got to change this name. So the group of us that founded us, there's about 8 of us, consulted with, everybody who was involved and said, yeah. So we changed it to centrist Canadians again, Elias, wanting only to be a platform for a pragmatic voice in Canadian politics. So here's what happened. We have several thousand people, about a little over 2,000 people across Canada over the months took out, registered their names with us, sent us ideas, and clearly what people wanted is they wanted a voice, but they wanted a voice that could make change, right? Not just another debating society, but a voice that could do stuff, and the only way to do that is a political party. Mm-hmm. We held 2 other conferences. We held a policy conference in Halifax in September, and we held a budget policy conference in Toronto in January. And everybody that came to those 2 sold-out conferences and that signed up after said, this is all really good, but if you're not going to start a political party, then, we don't really want to have anything to do with this. So we got to the point where we said, well, we can't say for sure that we want to start a party, but given the grassroots support that we've got, we are undertaking a 4-month effort to really figure out, is there a sustainable amount of support for this? And as I said, we're about 85% of the way there. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. It's got to be 100% in our mind, Elias, and that's how we got to where we are. So truly, it's from a bottom-up approach.
All right, continue our conversation with Rick Peterson, co-founder and director of Centrist Canadians. His group strongly considering starting a new federal political party. Rick, here's the question that I'm dying to answer, because I've said this on this show, I've said this on social media, I've been vocal about this. I feel your effort, as much as I'm a supporter of it, I feel the effort is dead in the water, not viable, if you don't launch the party with mutiny of the other 2 parties you're going after, the Liberals and Conservatives. I really feel that way. And I know I spoke to Dominic Carty on this program. He had mentioned he had a discussion with, I believe, what he put it, a double-digit number of current members in the MPs, right? So I have to ask you about that. Right now, are there current MPs in the House of Commons so upset about the leadership of the Conservatives, so upset about the leadership of the Liberals, that they will break ranks, mutiny, to join your effort?
I don't think that's the right question, Elias.
Oh, I do.
The question is...
Sorry for asking it.
The question to ask is, are there a considerable number of Canadians? It's not a question of mutiny. All 3 federal leaders, Justin Trudeau, Jagmeet Singh, and Pierre Poilievre, all have a strong base. They all have the support of a large number of people in their party, and they merit to be the leaders of those parties, okay? The reason that centrist Canadians is getting traction is there are a whole bunch of people who simply just don't feel that they're part of what those 3 leaders are articulating, or you can add a 4th to Maxime Bernier. So it's not going to be an MP that deserts, and Dominique, I know, would probably be, more closer to that than I am. But here's a better response, Elias. We invested $30,000 in a national survey, and we surveyed 2,000 Canadians across Canada in a highly scientific poll. And that poll told us 3 things. 70% of Canadians consider themselves centrist, number 1. Number 2, 80% of Canadians don't feel attached to any one particular party. Okay? Mm-hmm. And number 3, and this is the key thing, the support for center-right Canadians is more from the center-left than the center-right. There are more disaffected blue Liberals than there are red Tories.
Mm-hmm.
And the other things that they told us in the survey is they actually highlighted areas across Canada where support for a centrist party is the greatest. There's 4 key areas: Lower Mainland of British Columbia, Edmonton, Alberta, here where I am, if you can believe it, Quebec City, and all of Atlantic Canada. So the question, Elias, to ask is, are there a sufficient number of Canadians who would step up and support it and run it? That's the right question, not MPs that are going to jump
but
off.
you got but
that.
you have to win. If you're going to make a political party, right, it's to win elections, right? So
That's
I'm
right.
looking about how to win elections, and I think going down, this. Okay, well, we've got grassroots support. Well, you'll end up with cutting off a few percentage points from both, from a few parties. But I don't know if it'll translate to seats, right? And I'm just trying to think about how you win an election here, and not just say, because I think a voter will say, oh, geez, maybe I feel this way, but I'm just going to go. I don't want Poilievre to win, so I'll just keep voting for the Liberals. Or conversely, I don't want Trudeau to win, I'll vote for Poilievre. And that's what I worry about under that scenario. If it doesn't start off strong, you'll end up in that case with that result.
What party do you think has the most power in Parliament today?
The NDP probably, right? Because they have got.
And how many seats do they have, Elias?
Yeah, what are they at now? 20 or 24, right? 26.
They got 24.
Yeah,
okay,
20, yeah.
We know 35 ridings where the centrists would have a very good chance of winning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's the plan. Balance of power. That's where you go.
There's the math. Of course, no new party, no centrist party is going to win a majority of 343 seats. Let's not, There are ridings where a centrist party simply will not gain traction.
Mm-hmm.
But again, spending the money and the time and the effort of digging deep across where Canadians are, we know where there is the possibility of electing centrists. And if we have the right leader, the right party, the right policy, and the right people, then why not? Why not? Who's afraid of competition for voices? It's not us. So let's wait and see. Elias. But thank you for this. centristcanadians.ca. Anybody like to keep up to date with what's going on? Decision day is September 20th.
Rick, you have my attention, and I think you have the attention of lots and lots of Canadians. I wish you success. I want this to be a success for various reasons, because I'm an orphan in this country politically. Rick, thanks so much.
Thanks, Elias. It's an honor and a pleasure to be on your show. Thank you.
It's Rick Peterson, co-founder and a director of Center Ice Canadians. He mentioned the website. It's centristcanadians.ca.